Hey there, warriors, writers, creators, artists alike. This video is for you. Today, we are going to talk about Chat GPT. Because I see a lot of techie people out there talking about how awesome it is, and a lot of marketing people out there figuring out how to use it, and a lot of creative people out there scared to death about what it's going to do to our art, to us, to our careers, and our lives. But hold up. Today we're going to talk about a few ways I can see ChatGPT helping writers in the future without actually doing the writing for us. I'm a writer, I'm a creative, and I've spent some time playing with it, and I'm here to tell you it's okay. AI is freaky as shit, but ChatGPT is not going to replace creative writers anytime soon. It's a neat tool. It can do a lot of fun things. And yes, people that write copy are going to need to stay on top of it, learn how to use it, stay ahead of it, and figure out how they can work with it, because that industry is probably going to be changing a lot. But writers, authors of creative nonfiction, fiction, and storytellers in general, don't worry. ChatGPT does not create original thought. It cannot communicate complex human thoughts and emotions. It does not have our experiences. Your writing is always going to be unique because of the perspective you bring to it, a perspective that a robot is never going to have. So let's stop worrying about how it's going to work against us and start figuring out how we can make it work for us. And if AI does eventually take over, I bow to our robot overlords. Sorry, just trying to cover my butt. So here are a few ways ChatGPT can help out writers and creatives without doing the writing, because yes, plagiarism is a real thing. Starting with writing prompts and ideas. I talk all the time about how great writing prompts are. In fact, it's one of the main tools of a creative warrior. But if you're stuck, you can get writing prompts from ChatGPT. In fact, I asked it for one, and here's what it gave me. Now this prompt is a little long. The year is 2057. Humanity has colonized Mars. As the first generations of Martian grows up, they begin to develop strange powers that no one on Earth has ever seen before. As the government races to understand and control these abilities, a group of young Martians must decide whether to use their powers for good or let them be weaponized by those in power. That's a cool prompt, but it's a little long. I like prompts that I can just throw up on the screen or that are about a sentence or so. So since that prompt was a little long, I just said, give me a writing prompt in less than 20 words. And it did. But here's the prompt it gave me. The government's new AI program gains sentience and must choose between saving humanity or destroying it. Should we be worried? Just so you know, I did ask, would you save humanity or destroy it? And the answer I got was not 100% super comforting, but here we are. So you can use ChatGPT to get writing prompts when you're feeling stuck. So the next thing you can use ChatGPT is to help with description. Confession, I hate writing descriptions. Stephen King, I ain't, because I would much rather get to the plot, the dialogue, the action, than describe every detail about a house or a town or the way a street looks, unless it's really, really important for the story. And I know descriptions are necessary. They build the tone of a book, right? The reader needs to be able to picture where they are. I just don't like doing them. Not only don't I like them, but sometimes they're really hard to do, especially if you've never been to the place you're trying to describe. If you want to describe a really old church, like a really, really old church, but have never been to one, ChatGPT can help. because sometimes just staring at a picture online isn't going to cut it. So I told it, write a description of a 15th century church in the center of a bustling modern city. This is what it came up with. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but overall it describes a little bit of the church, but then how it would feel to walk into the church out of the hustle and bustle of the city and the quiet in the church, the peace you would find. Which is great, but that's not what I was looking for. And like I mentioned, it's conversational, so it's going to remember what I asked it and the history of our chat, meaning I can just change up how I ask something and it will know what I'm talking about. So all I had to say to get the answer that I wanted was focus more on the architecture and appearance of the church. Boom. This was what I wanted. This gives me something to work with. Now, I am not just going to copy and paste. One, it's not that great of writing. Two, we're not using this to do our writing for us because that's plagiarism. But now I've got some vocabulary to use that I didn't before. Frescoes. I can look that up, figure out what it is, and then include it in my description. Or I could probably just ask the bot what it was. And I now know that there might be a gleaming marble altar and stained glass windows, which I could have assumed, but now I know for sure. I can see this church a little more clearly than I could before, and I've got a better idea of how to describe it. I can talk about the wooden doors, the intricately carved scenes, the archways, things I may not have known to include before. So Chat GPT can help you get ahead of the things you hate about writing and make them just a little bit easier, not do them for you. And then I asked it how to make this section of a script funny. Now, I'm not sure it really made it all that funny. I'm not sure how good of a sense of humor AI bots have. But some of the phrasing it chose is a little more interesting than what I had, so I might choose to use those sections and tweak them so they work within my script. Again, we're not stealing it directly, we're just using it as inspiration. You can also use it to explore different writing styles. I asked it to rewrite a paragraph of mine in the style of a few different authors, and it actually gave me some interesting ideas on how I might reword some things. It was interesting to see how the styles changed based on the author I chose, and it could be a great learning tool for someone in an English class or just a curious writer. I had it write in the style of Ernest Hemingway and Stephen King and J.M. Barrie, since I'm currently working on a Neverland piece. You can also use it to create characters or brainstorm. Again, we're not going to use it to write, trust me, you'll see why, but we could get ideas that then we can build off of. So as you can see from this outline, it's not very original. I asked it to help create a story about time travel, and it basically wrote the butterfly effect. See what I mean about it not going to replace writers? But if you were completely stuck, this might give some of the pieces you would need to move forward. The event she travels back to could be her high school graduation, like it suggested, and this could get your wheels turning. What's something someone would do at a high school graduation that would forever alter their lives and they'd want to change? And again, it's not very original. I saw an article where the author was using it to brainstorm, and their character was also named Sarah and was working on a top secret project. And it can do character outlines if you need a little help giving your characters more depth. Now I had to start somewhere, so I told it I wanted the character we were already talking about, remember it can remember our chat history, to be male and someone who had always regretted his past. And this is what it gave me, and that's a great place to start. Even if you do choose some of these characteristics, you're going to put your own spin on the character. Someone else could use these exact same details and the two characters would still be nothing alike because you each have your own opinions, experiences, biases, and emotions that will impact how the character turns out. So I am not saying to tell So I am not saying to tell Chat GPT to write you a paper or an essay or a novel. Seriously, don't, because it will not turn out very good. But you can use it to help you write. There are only a few truly original ideas out there anyway. It's what you do with them that makes them great. And on this channel, we talk about tools that can help you get unstuck. Tools that might feel like cheating, but are not. There's nothing wrong with getting a little extra help. So why not use Chat GPT to get a little help sparking the flame that will fuel your writing into a fire? Was that lame? I hope it wasn't lame. Disclaimer, Chat GPT did not write the script to this video. So thank you so much for listening today, warriors. Let me know if you have any ideas on how ChatGPT could help other writers with their writing, or if you've already used it, let us know in the comments. Like this video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel.